Um, did we all get pregnant watching this episode of ATL? Because I was like, what in the adult channel is happening here? I mean, I literally had to check myself when all was said and done to make sure I ain't have no black oil lingering. You know what I'm saying? And furthermore, Brit thinking of jab jab, like what's really good with the jab jabs coming your way from your best friend Kelli? Like what's going on now with that friendship? Not that we didn't know it was coming, but I'm still like, huh? It's definitely giving a watered down version of Shamia and Portia. But we absolutely will get into it. What is going on, y'all? It's your girl Taini B here. Welcome to my chat party. I'm so glad that you can join me fashionably early, fashionably late. And I am late, by the way. Forgive me to my own party, but better late than never. If you're just peeking in for a little bit, a lot of it, I appreciate it so much to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions on the Real Housewives of Atlanta ATL. Shout it. Season 16, episode number 15, Grenada, what is it? Chapter 3, Rebirth. To those of you who will just continue to help the guest list grow, I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. For those of you who will take the time to do a little two-step on the dance floor, or who will hit the like button, or who will just again peek in with your viewership, thank you so much in advance. And I do want to throw out a super quick happy belated Father's Day to all the dads out there, father figures, role models, whoever it is, whatever capacity you operate in as a real man, to be a real example to these young men out here coming up. Shout out to you. Unfortunately, I no longer have my dad and I miss him dearly, but it's amazing to witness my husband be the father that he is. And I'm sure a lot of you out there get to witness the same as well. So shout out to y'all. Okay. But we've got to get into the things of the things. All right. So here we go. We're getting a flashback of the night before. And of course, the ladies, are in their Shamia element, pretty much gyrating and popping the cho-cha everywhere. All right, laughing, being drunk. Meanwhile, I'm just like, y'all will be arguing all over again in no time, because that's usually how these so-called good times go, right? They last all of 2.3 seconds. So now we have Angela and Drew who meet for breakfast the next morning, and they chat about Shamia and Brit, as we saw in the last episode, just Brit apparently showing Shamia all this love for, just her being down about the whole Shiloh situation and being extra, in my opinion. And Angela got on Drew in jest about the fact that she was, making all these faces during the whole interaction. But when I tell you Drew's face would have been my face, and most of y'all already know that because I am the face maker, okay? The face queen at this point, because I can't help myself. Mine might have been slightly worse, actually, and I'm telling y'all, just naturally, I just can't sit through the bull. I can't without, keeping my face together. Right now, I will, depending, or I should say, I'll try my best depending, but it just burns me, and again, I'll hold it together when I absolutely have to, but even still, that can be a tug of war sometimes. This has just been my thing since just young tweenhood. Okay. But anyways, um, so they also talk about how it seemed like Kelli really wasn't speaking up for Brit like that when she was going back and forth with Shamia. So we knew that was going to be the start of, getting the party started, especially since Angela brought it up. I said, okay. And it's about to drop that amongst the ladies once the time is right, as she always does. Now, clearly, fast forward, this time I was wrong. Not to say she might not bring it up in next episodes, but we'll see, right? Angela's been the one that's just been kind of getting the things going. And so her and Drew feel like something ain't right between Brit and Kelli. Something ain't clean in the water. We now have Shamia, who calls her mother to find out what was going on with Shiloh. And her mom was just explaining, how cold the atmosphere was even when she got there. And, I think she was saying how the baby just didn't have certain garment on, and, this, that, and the third. And I think she said the nurse who was there might have been all bundled up herself, which is totally whack. That would have absolutely pissed me off, because it's like, you're making sure that you're warm, but the needs of my child. And even if you didn't, it's a child. Like, I need you to take that same blanket that you're wrapped up in and wrap my baby up. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Just whatever. And so Shamia, in my opinion, she did really good, right? In that moment, because I just knew she was going to have a breakdown all over again. I'm like, oh, here it comes. It's coming. It's coming. And she actually did end up getting a little emotional and a confessional. And she explained that she gets that way because Shiloh has had such a journey, along the way, and it appears to be a trying one at that. And as I mentioned before, all I can really say to that is what I said before and how I feel now. I just feel like it's best for Shamia just to be close to her baby where she'll feel more comfortable. And I also will say I'm glad at least she was okay during that call. It could have turned into something worse, like some type of emergency visit or, even God knows what. So thank goodness that it didn't. So now we go to Phaedra, who meets up with Cynthia and Portia in what appears to be maybe Portia's room. And of course, here goes Phaedra talking about Angela and how she comes across as a school teacher who teaches math and is very stern. And I'm like, okay, I say, yeah, because she be studying y'all and know those numbers don't be adding up like math class, right? With most of y'all, which is why she's watching the class with her good eye, just like a teacher does. And sidebar, don't y'all feel like Phaedra is definitely more in her element now being back in Atlanta than she was on Married to Medicine? I'm like, she's just flowing more, albeit whether she's getting on my nerves or not. It just seems like it's just more natural for her, right? Could be wrong. Y'all let me know. But she then talks about the like they're joking the African starter kit, and what she say? All African men come with some type of car and this, that, and the third, whatever. It was kind of cute and funny at the same time. She's also getting into how ATL is like a scam of a place, and there's scam artists all over. We know there's a whole lot of other things there too, which has been like the main word in talk of the town for the longest. The type of men that can reside there. Not all, but a good portion. But anyway, all the conversation ends up leading to Brit. Phaedra says she's got a little tea, right? And so I'm leaned in. I'm like, okay, because then naturally too, we gotta go to commercial break. I'm like, oh man, what is the tea that she's got? But then I was like, did y'all catch what the tea actually was? I said that ain't no dang on tea, and if it is, that tea was stale. It was not It was not piping hot. It was bootleg branded. It was bitter. It was tart. It had no taste. Because I'm like, the excitement in this is where. So she said something about Kelly's stylist has to go with her wherever she goes because her and Brit don't share the same stylist. So, in other words, I guess Kelly was starting to have an issue with Brit using her stylist. And I said, who CARES says? I'm like, who cares? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this was the tea. We don't call this real tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? And again, it just makes me think just the storylines and the fact that they're just grasping to keep this city of women going. Like, what is I don't know, y'all. I'm just like, what is happening? And I would have rather Phaedra just go ahead and say, listen, I think that the girls are just having trouble in paradise of some sort. That just would have made more sense, or issues with their friendships or whatever. And I said, I just know. Because then after that, I said, I know that I know that I know that I know. 1, 2, check, microphone check. I know that I didn't hear Portia in her confessional say that it sounds like jealousy to her. Really, girl? It sounds like jealousy to you? You would know, wouldn't you? Right? She was like, because, I don't know. Oh, what did she say? Where all this other mess could come from or something. I said, girl, be quiet. You would definitely want to talk and you shouldn't be talking actually. But, anyways, even after that, I'm like, what are these ladies talking about? Let's go ahead and hit a hard fast forward. So now Britt and Kelli visit one another, and I said, "Uh-oh, Kelli, be prepared to hear how you didn't have Britt's back amongst the ladies, like I said in my last video." But Kelli starts sharing how she has to start getting ready for a divorce court with that man she made her babies with, and gets emotional. Kelli asks how uh, Britt felt about the night prior, and I said, "Now, Kelli, why would you even set yourself up for that? Like, you were doing just fine talking about your situation, and you probably should have stayed right there in your situation, because then maybe Britt would have had a second thought and a right mind to be like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to bring this up right now because she's going through her own thing." But no, you just got to kind of hang your own self in that moment, right? And, anyways, Britt says in her confessional she was hurt by Kelli and looked at Kelli like she was a sister. She felt like Kelli was giving passive aggressive energy along with Shamia. And the thing that got me, y'all, and I'm sure y'all caught it too, is when Britt said that um she had asked Kelli, she's directly talking to Kelli. She's like, "I asked you multiple times, how much is a good donation to make?" And I said, "What? Huh?" So, Kelli, why didn't you just say that at the table? When Shamia started coming about her lack of donation, why didn't you come to your friend's defense? Not just because it's your friend, but the truth of the matter is, and what would have debunked the whole thing is if you would have been like, "No, you know what, she actually did ask, and I couldn't give her a good number, or we just couldn't figure it out. It's not that she didn't have it, it's not that she was trying to skimp out, we just didn't know." It would have been as simple as that, and it would have laid all of that to rest. So I'm like, okay, let me find out that at the same time, like, you're over here, trying to switch up on your girl and become a flip flopper so you can mix better with the group. Like, a mess, a mess, and a mess again. Which it really makes me think, at the end of the day, y'all, friends, how many of us have them? Friends. Y'all know this song. Come on. Ones we can depend on. I mean, I'm just saying, like, what in the friendship? Like, a mess. And I'm just like, that's so not cute. Again, slips are starting to show. People are starting to be revealed more in how they move, right? So I kind of didn't like that. Not that I want to be sitting up here sticking up for Brit, but you got to call a thing, right? And so Britt says she feels like Kelli hides behind her entourage, right? And Kelli feels like Britt is jealous of her entourage. So, her glam team, her makeup, Britt's like, "You don't have to hide behind them. I feel like you're hiding something. Just be who you are." And I'm like, "Britt, what are you talking about?" But anyways, apparently Kelli told her team that she no longer wanted them working with Britt. I'm just going to keep it simple though and just sift through the fluff and say that they too have deeper issues of some sort apparently taking place, because it's got to be bigger than, "You can't use my team anymore. I don't want to use your team. Don't like that." I'm just like, again, the lack of real substance in these storylines. I'm gonna try to squeeze what I can. Like I said, I'm just going to conclude that it's just real. It's much deeper, and they have some things to really talk about to figure it all out. And I'm like, are they really best friends for real, y'all? Do y'all know, or is this just a show thing? Like, how sometimes they'll force these friendships in our faces, and meanwhile, folks have met each other 5 minutes before cameras started rolling for the season, or they met for coffee and tea and tried to get out as many facts as they could. Like, I don't have time for any of that. But the way that these people just kind of, just kind of, again, don't hold each other down in the right way, it's like, you can't really be friends for real. So, anyways, the ladies are gathering by the pool now. And instead of Britt and Kelli matching, like apparently they always do, and I'm like, oh, they do? Because I totally never noticed. Shamia and Kelli come walking through in matching bathing suits. And cute. But like Angela said, is this what we're doing at our big grown ages with the whole matching thing? And Britt is going to be mad. And I was like, yep, she sure is. And so now at this point, I'm just waiting for Britt to come in, right? Everyone but Britt keeps walking through. You got Cynthia. I'm like, where's Britt? Now you got Drew. I'm like, where's Britt, right? And so they're all still talking all this best friend talk and moving forward one another, and it just feels so good, and they're all in love right now, yada yada yada. And then the chairman of Grenada walks in, Another nice looking gentleman, of course, the ladies are salivating over, right? And even him, I'm like, sir, run away quickly and don't look back, don't get caught up. And then while he's talking, I believe, finally Brit walks in. So they, start getting into jab jab, right? Which is a culture there in Grenada. It's a masquerade, apparently, and just a festive time where it's um, an ultimate expression of slavery freedom in Grenada. And they cover themselves in oil, black oil, and celebrate as a way to beat down the oppressors. This is part of the definition that we're getting from Portia. And it looks like a ton of people and, what would be their version of fun. And so Drew and Kelly start talking by the pool about their divorces, and apparently they have the same wedding anniversary, right? Which is an absolute disaster in this instance because both their men are trash. Okay. And they also would have been celebrating their 10-year. And that's terrible because most people don't sign up to get divorced, right? So it's just very unfortunate. We now have Portia, who then says she has a surprise. We have Shamia, who comes walking out, covered, pretty much neck up in this big old hat. And she's just given a bunch of body. And Portia apparently has given up her photo shoot so that Shamia could take over her photo shoot because she knew it would be something that would just lift Shamia's spirits since she, was emotional like before and just kind of going through what she's been going through. And, I was like, okay, I guess it's cute in the moment. I'm sure there were a lot of Bravo Portia fans like, oh, say she's not jealous. Say she gave up her photo shoot. Say this is what it's all about. Say she really does love her. Right. And again, because you still have your blinders on, right? People act like folks still don't move strategically or folks still don't move in ways that do damage control or folks still don't move in ways that will cover their tracks and make them look and cover up what's really going on, but whatever. And I guess maybe not losing sight of the point of it all. If I have to step into that sign and say, oh, that was nice of her to do, then okay, y'all. Oh, it was nice of Portia to do. She, meaning Shamia, apparently, though, is still salivating in her confessional over what she thinks is a best friendship with Portia again. And I'm like, oh, gosh. But are you best friends now, though? I mean, it's your best friends now. Okay. And so Kelly steps away to take a phone call with her attorney. We don't get a whole lot out of that. It wasn't anything too deep. They're just kind of going over the basics. And so the ladies now are getting ready to hit jab jab. And they're half naked, of course, right? Wouldn't truly be them if they weren't. But for most, again, you're on vacation. So it's like, why not, right? Would it be me? Absolutely nope. I can do, the sexy of it all, but not that kind of sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just giving a little too much. I give all of that to my man, okay? And sidebar, like I think I'm from that tradition too of just a more old school notion. My version of sexy is when you give a little bit, but not too much. You keep them wondering what's underneath it all. You know what I'm saying? You might get a little of the silhouette, but that's all you're going to get. All right. You ain't going to see my cheeksing for days. As a matter of fact, I still can't even believe it's a thing these days where you have these. I'm not even gonna say just youngins because I've seen full blown women in them too with these cutoff shorts with the cheeks hanging out. Y'all could be mad at me all you want to. I'm like ill, ill, and ill some more. I'm not mad at short shorts, and I don't even wear short shorts. But your cheeks hanging out, like I literally can see your. No, thank you. I'm good off of that. But, I just look the other way. You know what I'm saying? I look the other way. It is what it is, right? Everybody's body and their business to do what they want. If I did have a daughter, though, she would truly be mad at me if that was the route she wanted to go because it'd be an absolute hell no. Okay? Well, again, we're going to move it right on along, right? And so, sidebar, I'm just like, these women they're such sexual individuals, right? They're just so sexualized. And that's all they love to talk about. And now we got the whole episode and what they do with their mouth and the tongue this and the booty clapping and twerking that. And it just was overload for me. Again, I promise y'all, I am not a stick or any of the things, but it's just like sometimes some things are just a bit much that it makes your head hurt, and you're just like, okay, enough, enough. This is like over sensationalized to me. You know what I'm saying? And so, anyways, I personally, like I said, wouldn't participate in it, but it could be, and this is now actually talking about jab jab too. I would definitely go, but all that cooch popping and this, that, and third. That just no, maybe to the side a little something. I probably will be in the section that gives you a little history lesson on what it's really about, or maybe having a cold drink, shooting a breeze, whatever, doing my two step to myself, because everything else was just too much for me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, just not want to participate. I'm thinking also just even what the word, because I didn't get to go into grave detail, but I remember just kind of looking up a little bit and getting a quick like 2-3 liner, and apparently the word jab jab stands for devil devil. Now that just doesn't mix with my flow, even just those words alone, or that word alone, I'm like, yep, I'm good. Right? But it also, I will say, can very much be my ignorance of not knowing the real history behind that. You know what I'm saying? um so again, and just getting back into it though, single or not, regardless of where I was, I couldn't have all these randoms just grinding on me, lifting me up, grabbing me, all the things. Like if you don't keep your motherfucking hands to yourself, I don't give a how fine you are. Okay, like we ain't doing all of that. And maybe they're not as forward as they appeared on camera, but it's just, and the women were welcoming of it. So I'm not saying by any means the men were doing anything wrong. They were not. It didn't look like anybody was uncomfortable to me, but it just seemed like a lot, right? So let's go ahead, right? Let me step out of my 82-year-old grandma shoes and move forward. So the ladies meet in the morning for breakfast. Of course, they're talking a little about the fun they had the night before. Kelly's call with her attorney comes up, and she shared once she got off the phone with him, apparently the crystal that she had, that she was using, that night to kind of bring some good energy to the ladies, had broken in half. And she says she looked up the meaning, and apparently it symbolizes the end of a relationship. I personally wanted to add to that and said, I feel like it also symbolizes the fact that she got a broken man too, because who wouldn't want to do right by their kids and their wife they committed themselves to, but particularly their kids, even when all doesn't go well with your wife, right? Or your spouse or your significant other, because we expect that can happen, right? Certain things just don't work out with certain relationships. But when you have this obligation that you have created with someone, how do you skip out on that? When I tell y'all there's something in life I have never understood before, I don't understand now, and I don't think I ever will understand. There is no justification for it at all to any degree, right? Even like I don't get it, and I don't even know if it's right to water it down to the fact also of saying even if you're not there, the least you could do is pay for your child or send money, like something. It's just wild to me. And so you know I just feel like you don't operate that way unless you have some unresolved issues, right? Like I said, unless you're broken yourself, you're not a whole individual. And so she gets up to throw the crystal in the water. Of course, there's more hoopla about how all the ladies have bonded. Let's support our good sister this. Let's support our good sister that. And then we see a flash forward 72 hours later where the mess gets started all over again in ATL. And that's where we end. And yet again, it's like, that's it. That's all. You ain't gonna give us nothing else to talk about. I mean, I guess, y'all. That was the best that I can do with that. So with that being said, the music is on, the dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold up the wall. Just hop on the dance floor and let me know your thoughts about anything. I don't know. Am I just being too boring and I don't want to say conservative because I'm not a conservative person, again, believe it or not, but I just feel like it was just too much. Like, too much. Like, just just too much going on with the woman. And I get that some of them are single or about to be single, or they just want to have a good time, but I'm like, there are no other ways to have a good time. I don't know, I just feel like every twist and turn it was something. Every scene, with the exception of maybe one or two, there was something that just had to be talked about with some body part or some shaking or some something. And I'm like, can we get some type of mess or some type of real tea going? Like, where's it at? Where it at? You know what I'm saying? So y'all just let me know what you think. I don't even think I got any other questions to ask, because they're just like, huh, man, or maybe just the fact too, if y'all think it's pretty messed up that Kelli knew that Brit tried to make her best effort with her donation and didn't share that with the ladies, didn't come to her aid, didn't come to her defense. Like, what is really going on with that? So I don't know, y'all. Is it a gang up with Kelli and Shamia? Did they have a sidebar conversation about that? Especially now they want to be twinsing, twin flames, twin, where have you been together? Like, because it's like, remember, Shamia pulled that same stunt at dinner when she apparently was questioning Kelli about Brit, about what she had brought and the lack thereof regarding her donation, but at the same time had a conversation with the lady prior to, one-on-one, about the donation. Like what are y'all doing? Anyways, y'all, I'm gonna get on up out of here. I again appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all know I'll be back next week to do it all over again with you. I hope that this video found you in good spirits. And if it didn't, I hope that in this just quick, little stale amount of time, I'm sorry, y'all, because they're not giving us much to talk about, I was able to put somewhat of a smile on your face. I'm giving you all a social hug. And I just hope that you enjoy the rest of your week until we chat again. All right. And so y'all know what to do until that time comes. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. And I'm out. Peace.